Melissa Bestia.
Hi, I'm Susie from Women's Fight News, and today I'm joined by Melissa Oddessa Parker. So thank you very much for joining me today. And how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be on. Lots to talk about.
So yeah, congratulations on your last fight. So it was just over a week ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a little over a week ago. I fought last Saturday, so I've had a week to recover. Thank you.
And it's exciting because, I mean, you're only 4-0 and there you are taking on a world champion.
Yeah, I like to challenge myself. I've been doing this so long that I have to still make it fun. And so if I'm not in a fight that motivates me, I get complacent and I don't want to train. And I like going against the best because I feel that I'm up there with them. So how else am I going to show that other than going in there against them?
Sorry, I said you're 4-0 because you're 4-0 now. You were actually 3-0, weren't you, going in?
Yeah. After beating Maria Roman, I'm now 4-0.
So Maria Roman, so she's the IBF world champion at Bantamweight. And I understand you had wanted to actually fight her for the belt at Bantamweight.
Yeah, so that was the original plan. We were looking at the 122 division because my amateur background is as a featherweight. I went undefeated in the US at 125. So I like the idea of being around featherweight. But when we were looking at the 122 division, it was so tied up with interim champions, the champion taking time off and still holding the belt. So we said, let's look at 118. I make 120, without trying. So making 118 wouldn't be that hard. So we looked at there and I had seen the IBF champion, Maria. And I was like, okay, I think this would be a good matchup, just seeing that she has the belt. She likes to fight. She's had her belt for a while and she's actually been able to keep it multiple times defending it. So that pumped me up. We locked it in, 118. Okay, got the fight. Start training camp. We get an email that they're going to strip her of her belt if she fights me at all. So that was the understanding. So the fight falls through. So I'm now doing training camp and I'm like, oh, I don't want to fight no more. I have to fight. I don't even know who I'm fighting. I'm going into fight week with no opponent. I get a phone call that Maria has accepted the fight for the NABO. And I'm shocked. I'm like, she's going to fight for a regional title as a world champion. They were like, yeah. I was like, let's do it. I just want a world champion. I don't care what it's for. I just want to fight someone good. So we went in there and we scrapped it out and we just fought and I got the decision. I earned the decision because, I mean, if you look at it from fighting on the outside and then the times we were fighting on the inside, I was active the whole time. So it's interesting hearing people's opinions on how they scored it, depending if you're more into head punches or body shots.
I understand that Maria didn't actually sign the paperwork for the belt. So you didn't actually end up with the belt.
No, and my thing is this, like, I don't mind. If I was a world champion, there's no way I'm fighting for a regional title. So I thought it was odd to begin with, but just say, hey, I'll fight you as a tune-up fight because champions do it all the time and don't lose their belt. But don't say one thing and then refuse to do it when you get there, because then, I'm promoting this. I want to be able to promote factual things. The fight would have still happened, but I wasn't able to get my NABO, but I'll be fighting sometime in the spring and I'll be able to get it then.
Going back to you saying about what a war it really was a toe-to-toe war. And you're saying you didn't expect it to be quite a war. And how she was so sort of defensive on the inside and...
Man, talk about a tight defense. When you have someone who they intentionally have it in their mind to keep it extremely tight and just walk up on you like this, you now have to place your shots because hitting elbows hurts and you don't want to just keep hitting the mitt. And I don't like punches going to waste. So I want to make sure when I hit you that I'm hitting you. So I now have to work around that. But I also didn't have the gas tank. So that's the reason we wound up fighting on the inside. because she couldn't keep me on the inside unless I stayed flat-footed. But once I was moving, then she had trouble again. But I had to keep getting that second, third, fourth, fifth wind to get in there, because I didn't think that I was fighting someone that, I'm gonna just be honest, I had to train that hard for. So I was maintaining and I was going to the gym, but I wasn't training for a champion, and it showed. And shame on me, because as a professional, I should always be prepared with no excuses. But I'm glad it happened now versus later on, because man, it's lit a fire under my butt. I'm like, now I really got to show what I'm talking about, because that fight shouldn't have been close at all.
Your footwork at the beginning of each round was great. The way you were sort of dancing in and out and around her.
Yeah, that's something we really worked on. I like to change it up. I like to be that boxer who is versatile. So I have different sparring partners who give me different looks. So I have no choice but to fight, a little bit on the inside, and then have to fight on the outside and stay long range. And a lot of my sparring partners are guys, and they hit hard. So it makes me move, because I'm not trying to get hit so much.
I loved all your uppercuts as well. There was a lot of uppercuts going on.
Oh man, thank you for that, because it seems like unless you really into boxing, the casual fan wasn't picking up on that. And I'm like, between the body and the uppercuts, I was trying to dig it up there, but she got a strong neck. I could not snap her head back like I wanted to.
I think she was very tough and durable, actually, because you hit her a lot with those uppercuts.
Yeah, and I hit her with bombs. I was sitting down. I was still kind of straight up. After reviewing my fight, I didn't sit down low enough for someone shorter than me. And she was able to come in, which made me stand up straight. So she was good at pulling me into her fight. But I got to make sure that's something I do now with fighters that are smaller than me. Because if I had sat down, I wouldn't have taken the power away, and it would have generated from my legs. So even though I was trying to hit her hard, I was hitting her with a lot of arm punches instead of letting it come from the bottom up.
That's great that you're saying all this, because it's like you've got so much you feel like you can work on. So it's quite exciting to see where you go from here.
Thank you. Yeah, even though I've been boxing on and off for almost 20 years, I feel like I'm always learning. And even if you already know something, boxing is so complex that the different components you have to put together, sometimes you forget even the fundamentals, because you get caught up in other things. So I like that sometimes I have to continue going back to the fundamentals, or going back to things that I felt I already became an expert in and can execute well. So it's never ending. It's a circle of working on things and making sure you're on top of it. So I'm excited, because it's hard to get bored when you have those things to work on and look forward to improving on.
Got a big amateur experience. Is this why you're pushing yourself so quickly in the pros?
It is, because I've fought top girls. I fought Michaela Mayer. I fought Melina Sparza. Even some of the females who are still in the amateurs, like Virginia Fuchs. I have gone against them. So that's what I'm used to. When I would go to tournaments, I wasn't looking at the beginning of the bracket, because I knew I was making it to a medal round. So I was looking to see who was on the other side, and if there was anyone in my way for the medal round. So if I saw I got a top girl, let's say before the quarterfinals, I'd be like, oh man, okay, I got to dig deep, so I can't go too hard these first two fights, because then I got them and I want to make it. So now that I'm pro, I only fight once. So I want to be excited with whoever I'm fighting. I don't do this just for money. I do it because it's my passion and I have fun, and I want to make money being able to do it. So opponents is a big deal now in the pros. I only get one at a time.
I was going to say, you did catch my eye with how keen you are on getting those opponents. And recently you were calling out Julian Luna Avila, who beat Juarez, who dethroned Juarez. Is that right? You were looking to fight her?
Man, I wanted that fight so bad, if I could be honest. I love the fact that you had someone that beat someone who you have to respect the things she's been able to do in boxing. She's on the decline now. She's not going to get any better, if we're honest. So it was pretty cool to see someone be able to dominate and control the fight the way they did. So no one can say anything against Luna. She's a legit boxer. And that excited me that now I want to go against her, because it would be a challenge to see who's going to dominate, who's going to dictate the pace. When you hit her, she comes back and she hits you. I feel that I'm more of an exciting fighter, so I thought I would bring it out of her to step it up. So I wanted to see how we will match up because of our styles. And I was willing to go down to 118 for this. That's how much it excited me. But apparently she has a mandatory, and we were told we wouldn't be able to go against each other because of that, but also because, once again, I have to have my 5 fights before they let me fight for a world title.
That's the magic number, is it? 5?
Man, I guess so. But only one more to go, so I can't complain.
But I was going to say that's a lot of guts. There's not many people going out of their way to call her out. So that's pretty impressive that you want to get straight in there at the top.
Yeah, you know, how else are they going to know I'm interested? So until I get picked up with a promoter or I start getting put on bigger cards, there's no other way for people to know who you want to fight and who you're willing to fight. So I have no problem letting it be known and putting it out there. And it also makes it fun. You have to have fun with this because it's such a serious sport.
Is there anyone else who you'd like to go against? Has anyone else caught your eye?
Yeah, Yamilis Mercado.
Okay, yeah.
I'm NABF champion, so, and I should be going for WBC. It would only make sense. At this point, I just have to wait and see until I have my 5th fight. I should be fighting May 15 at the Orlando Resort again in Florida. So after I have this 5th fight, we got to look and see what's open, because right now it seems like everybody's getting a title match. So all the belts should be tied up soon. So I got to put myself in a position to be ranked so I can become eventually a mandatory and get a shot.
What weights? So you're saying about your willingness to move weights. So what weights are you happy to go to?
At that time, that's what I wanted to do. I was willing to go down to 118. But now that I've been fighting at 122, I'm just going to stay there. The only way I'm willing to go down to 118 is for a title shot at this point. But I love the idea of becoming first a unified champion. So I have to stay at 122 and then going for undisputed. So right now, my focus is just the super bantam light featherweight division.
That sounds great. And then you can go to different weights then.
Yeah. You know, after I snatch up some belts and I can walk around with them, then I'll be like, what's up? Who wants me to come down to them or up?
And then also, I noticed that you're into your MMA as well.
Oh, yeah. I actually just got to Colorado to do my first week of camp, because there's a chance that I'll be making my MMA pro debut soon, since I don't fight until May for boxing.
So how do you find that? I mean, have you always been into MMA, or is this more of a new thing, or is this... A
lot of people don't know this, but I actually started MMA back in 2015. I'm going to be training out here at the gym that I first started doing MMA at, Victory MMA, under Gilbert Smith. He was my first MMA coach. And when I had made the world team here in Colorado, I was looking to do something in between camps. And I just like working out. So he asked me if I would like to do a class, since I was doing boxing at his gym also. And I was like, I don't know. I don't like anything that involves feet, to be honest. But I went in there and I had so much fun. So then I was asked if I would fight. And I'm like, it's amateur MMA. I don't care. Everyone knows records aren't a big deal in amateur boxing. It's about what tournaments you win and how you did against people. So I didn't care if I lost. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go have fun. So with only 4 weeks of training outside of boxing, I went ahead and did my first MMA amateur fight back in 2015. And I had a blast. And ever since then, it's become a passion of mine. boxing comes first, but I don't see myself walking away from MMA. So I may actually be having my pro debut soon. We've been talking back and forth with a couple of the smaller promotions outside of UFC because I do have to be realistic. I haven't been consistent enough to try to go with a large promotion and go against girls that have been active on fighting against, you know, girls that are that good.
Well, we can see that it's getting popular to go into to do both. I mean, Clarissa's going to give it a go and have the do boxing and MMA at the same time. And we've obviously seen Amanda Serrano do it, Heather Hardy try it.
Yeah, but you know what the difference is? I respect Clarissa because at least she's taking the time to get to understand the sport and actually train in it. You have people like Amanda Serrano and Heather Hardy that did it strictly for a paycheck. It's not because they had an interest. It's not because they fell in love with the sport and enjoy it so much. It was just another avenue to make money. And it showed in their performance. You can't come in thinking you're going to dominate as a boxer in the octagon. It's MMA. They're attacking from head to toe. Look at their piss poor performances, if we're going to be honest. Yeah, she had a win, but that's because she's also an athlete. Imagine them going against Holly Holm or girls like Rose Namajunas. They would get eaten alive. That's just being honest. But you have women like Clarissa who actually respect the sport and understand that it's something to be taken seriously. You can't just take a couple of classes and be done. That's the same for me. Throughout my boxing, I never stopped training in MMA. I haven't been as consistent, but I've never stopped. So I'm still keeping up with it. So I feel ready and being able to go in versus taking more time off and then trying to do it later in my career.
Yeah, I really respected that because when I did my interview with Clarissa and she was explaining that to me, that she wanted to go with when she signed with someone, she wanted them to understand that she didn't want to go in just as a to bring in the views and go straight in with, say, like a Amanda Nunes. I mean, you know, that'd be really stupid, like you said, to go straight in at that level. Whereas, like you said, she wants to go straight in and go against the people that are her level at where she's at, which I think is really sensible. Because, I mean, she's only 25, so she's got a bit of a career ahead of her if she does it carefully and sensibly.
And that's another thing. You know, she's being smart. She is only 25. There is no rush. Right now, she still has good fights going on in boxing. She has her first pay-per-view coming up. So she doesn't need to rush with MMA. And because of who she is, her only route to go is with a big promotion. So she's going to go against girls who have experience. So it's smart to do it the way she's doing it. That's the reason I'm looking to go the route I am, because I need to go against girls who have similar experience as me until I get better. But boxing's different. Like, give me your best, give me your strongest, your fastest. I want to break them all down.
No, it's true. And I think you proved a lot with your last fight, because you were like saying you can take on these top girls, and then you went straight in with a world champion and won.
Man, yeah, but I also felt a little down because I felt that I disappointed everyone because I talked about what I would be able to do. And while I still showed that that's where I should be and the caliber of fighters I should be fighting, I still fell short of what I said I could do. And I don't like when I don't stick by what I say. So I'm hoping, you know, as I fight, I'll be able to stick to what I do, because I hear everyone saying that and it makes me feel so much better, but you're always your worst critic. So all I look at is the things that I shouldn't have done or done better.
In your other fights, you've got some pretty good knockouts. So that's something you want to be working towards, to be like getting some good knockouts in the future.
Yeah, but against top girls, because that's what makes the difference. I mean, the girls I fought, don't get me wrong, they weren't tomato cans. They were active. They were fighting also. The girl I fought before, Maria, actually won a few national titles. She was competing. But it won't matter to me unless I get someone who I feel like, okay, this is a challenge. This is how I show that I'm among the great.
I think we briefly touched on about how MMA and about how some fighters might go into boxers might go into MMA for the pay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the whole? Because it's the hot topic, isn't it, about women's pay and rounds and that kind of topic? What's your opinion around it all?
So I'm kind of in between, right? Because this is how I feel. It sucks the position we're in as women. We shouldn't have to work so hard to promote ourselves when we're selling tickets. If you look at it, women have been selling tickets basically to get paid. And they're selling tickets that are more than what they're getting paid. If you're able to put people in seats or get people to stream and pay for the pay-per-views, then you should be getting paid according to that. I don't think that it's necessarily we want to get paid just like the men. We want to get paid fairly. We want to get paid as a fighter. We're doing the same thing. We're getting in the ring. We're entertaining. We're putting on a show. We're putting on a fight. So if you're going to put us on the cards, we need to get paid because it is our career as well. With that being said, who are women fighting? Women are also dodging everybody. I mean, look at what Amanda Serrano's going through. I got on her case because I felt like she was dodging people, but now it's the other way around. Fights like that aren't going to help where you have to fight people on losing streaks like Marlene Esparza. Shelly Barnett is flat-footed. She's not exciting. How is that helping women's boxing that it's a first pay-per-view and that's what you're putting on? Until we have legit fights like Jessica McCaskill when she fought for the titles and won, that was exciting. When you have Sanisha, she's about to fight another world champion. That's exciting. When you see talent fighting talent. So if we want to get paid, we have to start stepping up and fighting other challenging fighters and being able to put on those kind of performances so that they want to put us on the main card. So that's what I believe, in my opinion, we need to do is start promoting ourselves better and start taking on better fights so that people want to watch us.
How do you feel about the rounds? Do you feel like you're happy with the 2 minutes, or you think it should go up, or what's your opinion on that?
I mean, we're pros. I feel we should be fighting 3 minutes because you don't want to see a bunch of pity pat punches thrown and you feel rushed. I like to break you down. That whole minute makes a huge difference when you're breaking someone down. And you also want to be patient. So you don't want to come out the corner and just swinging and looking to stop the person or trying to beat the clock. You want to be able to come in and work behind your jab or look for openings. There are so many times where that 2 minutes is coming up and I see I have my opponent hurt and I could have gotten them out of there. And then the bell rings and now they have time to recuperate. So I would prefer the 3 minutes, but if I have to keep training and pacing myself for 2 minutes, I'll keep doing so. But hopefully it'll change because I know a few women have been fighting at 3 minutes now.
And outside of boxing, have you got any passions outside? You're saying you like your boxing, your MMA, anything outside the fighting?
Well, I mean, as far as a career, I would love to maybe get into commentating, get into acting. I think I would do very well with my personality. So those are the things I kind of look forward to because I know that I can't fight forever. But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is also another passion I've taken up because what happens when it's time for me to retire? I love competing. I don't think I'll be ready to give that up. And doing jiu-jitsu allows me to still compete. And the way that they structure it is so fair because I'm going against women in my age bracket, my weight division, and with the same experience. So if they're a blue belt and I'm a blue belt and we're in that 40, age category, we can go at it. I don't have to worry about going against some 30-year-old who's just going to smash me, who's been doing it 20 years and is a purple belt. So that also gives me comfort in knowing I'll have something to keep me active once boxing and MMA is over.
And if you had any advice give your younger self of what you know now, what would it be?
When they said stretch, stretch, because your body is, man, it's not going to lie to you. If it's hurting, if you're not treating it right, it's going to show you. So I wish I took better care of my body, because I started when I was 15 and I didn't take my pre and post care that serious. And now I'm going through it, especially past injuries. So if I could go back in time and tell my younger self to do something, it would have been better care, better warm-ups, and better post-care, so that I wouldn't have had so many injuries and I wouldn't feel so bad, because recovery, oh man, that's rough.
Brilliant. Well, it's been really great to talk to you, and I really hope to get your next fight. I hope it gets announced soon. Get the Magic 5 out, and then see who which world title you're going for then.
I know, right? How exciting, to be continued.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it's great, and I think what's exciting is your exciting boxing style. I think it's really great watching you go. I know you said you weren't particularly completely happy with your performance, but from the point of view for someone watching it, it was fantastic, because it's great to see those wars.
I'm so glad to hear that. And yeah, the next one should be May 15 in Orlando.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit like. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future content, and why not check out any other videos on the channel. You can follow Women's Fight News on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.